If you have a Mercedes and you get Airmatic malfunction error on your instrument cluster, then this video is for you. Hello, my name is Elvin and welcome to Accident on Cars. In today's video, I want to talk about the dreaded Airmatic problem which I've been chasing for several months now. It was very annoying, so I would like to share with you what my problem was, how I solved it, how I diagnosed it, and this video gonna be helpful for you if your Airmatic problems are electrical. Now, there are various reasons as to why aromatics can be faulty, right? There's probably like a handful of reasons such as air leaks, compressor, valve, airlines, bad air springs, and electrical. So mine was the worst of all, which was the electrical. And I'll explain that a little more now. It all started as a preventive maintenance. My rear air springs would drop, lose height over 3 to 4 days. In summer, over 2-3 days in winter when it's cold. The car would go, like, a little bit of dropping is normal, but the car would go way too low, indicating that there was an air leak somewhere. It would still come back up, it would still ride perfect, but I did not want to wait until it leaves me stranded. I decided to change the air springs and I ordered Arnott replacement units. I made a full DIY video, which I'm gonna leave in the description box down below. Go watch that one after watching this one if you would like to learn how to replace rear air springs in your W211, W219, CLS, E-Class, many Mercedes from this area. Anyhow, I digress. Now, prior to the replacement, I would also get sporadic Airmatic malfunction error on the dash, on the instrument cluster. I thought it was there because the car was, it was detecting a leak somewhere because the car was dropping, but I never scanned it, and frankly, I never had a good scanner, which I have now, and which I highly recommend, but more on that in a minute. So, I finally got the scanner, I plugged it in, and I got the code Y54/1, which if you Google that code, it stands for open circuit on the rear right shock absorber. Google, ChatGPT, they will all tell you that this code is very specific. It's not an air spring related, it's a shock related. I was like, okay, maybe my shocks are old, I need to replace it. Maybe I have short in the shocks. So let me show you how you can actually test your shocks. All right, in order to test your aromatic shocks, your ADS or active damping shocks, as you can see, this have like a damping valves on the side. You have to first of all remove the wheel liner, which is right here, and it's really not that hard to remove. You can Google it. There's a nice FCP Euro video about it. Basically, you have to remove 3 10mm plastic nuts and couple of rivets. That's it, and then you kind of pull it down. Now, once you do, you will see that aromatic lines that come from it go all the way here, which is kind of like the front side of the car, and they connect. Let me turn the flash on. Yeah, so the cable comes and connects to this connector here. Now, what I did, I removed them just like this. Basically, there's bracket on the side, which I've already removed. I'll show you, but also you can find it online. And then you pull them back, kind of like this, And this bottom one is for the shock. Now, using a multimeter, I set this to continuity. I set this to the ohms, and then you put one of the aromatics probes, to one and then another, and you check to make sure that you are getting readings or you are getting continuity. So in my case, it all passed the test just fine. I just plugged it back in. So it passed the test just fine. So I knew it was not the shock and I was getting the right readings. But to confirm it further, I even ordered brand new parts, build stains, connected them just like this, disconnected this, connected that, and then I cleared the code, but it would come back. So yes, the code would come back on after clearing it. To clear the code, you need a scanner. Okay, you can't just disconnect the battery or whatever. That's kind of stored in the system. So when working on aromatic codes, unfortunately, it's not possible to clear the codes without a good quality scanner that can communicate with various modules in the car and clear them or set them. Which is why I would like to introduce you to the sponsor of today's video, Mucar Mucar, and this scanner is great. I love it. It comes in a nice package. It's nicely packaged. It comes with so many accessories for various interfaces and stuff. You can see the model I've got is 892, and I love it. It's like very sturdy. You know, it's basically an iPad tablet encased in a very nice sturdy case. Like I said, the first thing I love about Mucar is that there is no subscription. Basically, you buy the device and it's yours. And as you can see, it's offering me to download the latest version of the software. So it will come with free software updates, lifetime, over the air. There's not need to plug it in into your laptop or anything. It connects to Wi-Fi. You can diagnose your car. You can perform various maintenance. So many modules here. You can see like clutch matching, AdBlue reset, airbag reset, battery matching. You can see there are so many car brands in here. The list is endless. It supports pretty much every car manufacturer out there. I have already upgraded to the latest version for Mercedes. So let me see what it can do for Mercedes specifically. So it automatically connects to the OBD. And look at this like menu, guys. Look at how many things you can read, reset, program. I go to the suspension and I'll show you. It will show me all the errors that are stored in there that I've been dealing with. You know, I say read fault codes, and you can see all of these are now stored. They used to be like stored and active. Stored means that you had an error at some point. Active means you have it now. As you can see, Y541 is the one I used to have. From here, you can dive deeper. You can either go through like programming, bunch of readings. You can check voltages at the struts and stuff. So all this like things actually help me. You can check your vehicles uh, height, and all these things actually helped me ensure that my ECU, the Airmatic control module was working just fine and nothing was broken. You can actually perform like special functions here. The one I will need for sure right away is the air level calibration. So I'll make sure that my car is calibrated and sits nicely. Now listen, there are many scan tools that reach out to me and I refuse 99% of them. I love the Mucar, it works. There's no subscription, so I highly recommend it. Check the link down below in the description. Next, I reached out to my audience, and huge shout out and huge thank you to my followers, to my subscribers. They made so many great recommendations saying, Elvin, check this, check that, all of that. Some of it was kind of like, you know, applicable, some wasn't, but all of them nonetheless guided me in the right direction. Huge shout out to an Instagram channel, huge shout out to an Instagram page and YouTube channel called Randash. That guy is an electrician working on W211. He's a programmer. He does great things, including TCU programming, this, that. You gotta check out his Instagram and YouTube. It's amazing. He does great, amazing job. Check out Randash on YouTube and Instagram. Now let's continue. Now it gets a little crazy from here. Like I said earlier, the code is very specific. It says rear right shock, but hear me out. So my diagnosis continues, right? I want to confirm that the communication and ground positives, nothing is broken from the shock to the airmatic control unit, which is under the passenger footwell. What do I do next? I want to confirm that now that it's not the shock wire, that the connector I showed you earlier itself is good. And to do that, I've done the following. So as an inexperienced person, I was like, wait the fuck, excuse my French. I was like, how do you get to the bottom of it? Because once you pull this out, right, the pins inside are so small, you can't get in there. Once again, one tip, shout out to Randash. He suggested that in order to get into very thin female connectors, you can use aluminum foil and kind of like twist it like this, make a very tiny kind of like pin and insert there, and then put your multimeter to that. But I got that advice from Randash a little too late. So I was trying to get to the back of this and see what I've done here. So let me open my trunk and show you that I've taken it all apart really for nothing. But I still want to show this to you because this is gonna give you guys some idea, right? Like how to get there, like what's behind this like wall here in your trunk. This is the right side, the passenger side in the US car. So yeah, the right side. So There's a nice FCP euro on how to get there, but basically I remove the floor, this plastic which goes here, and then that side, you know, you have to remove some rivets, and just be a little careful. And here I found bunch of cables. Everything is actually nice. Mercedes has done a great job, like with this insulation and stuff, you know, to reduce the noise. This is your Airmatic. This is the funniest thing. It's your Airmatic tank. You know, this is how additional air is stored in the system and then distributed to various springs. Now, you know, if you have electrical issues here, I just wanted to show you guys so that now at least you know how the wire is connected. It comes from the main loom, you know, from the body. It comes this way and then to the trunk. But I didn't want to check anything here because this is all past the connector I was interested in. So I did this basically for nothing. Then I got into the car, and let me, 1 second. So next I had to tear apart the interior of my car. And what I mean is, here you can see that you have to, you know, in order to get to the connector, which is by the way right here behind this panel here, it's right here. I'll show you if you can see it. Yeah, it's right there. Those black electrical tapes are not supposed to be there. I put them on because I punctured, you know, using needle, I punctured through the wires, and I put my multimeter to it to check the continuity, and it all passed. So I knew this connector was good too, so I tore this apart for nothing. But just in case anybody needs to get there, let me briefly tell you how you do it. There's this like plastic trim that's here. You have to remove it. You have to pull this like seal out of its place. It doesn't want to come out now, but it does, believe me. You just like pull it, the trim remover. Then you have to remove the bottom of the rear seat. You have to, there's a little behind, you have to pull this back. That's your fuel filter and sender. Then there's a 10mm plastic which holds this trim. Once you remove it, you have to put your hand behind carefully because there's like cables and the Airmatic line, and kind of like pull it upwards like this way, you know, carefully, and then they will come out there. They're basically held in there by clips like this, you know. Focus. Yeah, so by clips like this, so they just come out of that, you know. So yeah, anyhow, this gave me nothing. Then thanks to Randash, once again, he said, check the Airmatic control module, which is under the passenger footwell. In order to get there, at first you have to fold the carpet down, and then you have to remove this, which is another insulation piece. It just sits right there, and there are little tabs holding it. This is very easy. It's just a foam, very easy to break. Be careful. And once you do this, you will see that this metal piece, hopefully you can see it, it's held in there, you know, by 3 10mm plastic nuts. One goes here, one there, one there. The one over here is a little hard to reach, but nonetheless, then you put it down like this. This is your Airmatic control module, just in case anybody needs the part number. This is the part number. And he said, Randash, huge thanks to you, my friend. He checked the diagrams and stuff. So he said, remove this, and you remove this by pulling this tab to this side. I don't want to do it right now, but if you pull this, kind of like slides, like this way, and then this comes out this way. And then when you put it back, you insert it and then push it from here, and then it locks it. Okay, here, number 23, number 19, and 26, the pins, you know, on the female side, on this wiring side, not on the control module side, are the ones you want to check for the right rear shock. You know, 26 is your ground, and 23 and 19 are the ones for the shock. Why did I say that it gets crazier from here, right? Because all this time, as I've been describing, I've been chasing the shock wires. and when I checked the ECU, I saw that the connection like 2019 to 26 checked out. I got about 13 ohm resistance. It means it's good. But between 26 and 23, there was nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I was like, what the heck? Like maybe my shock is broken. But and then once you think your shock is broken, you have to continue, checking the wires elsewhere. Came back to the shock and I started I was thinking, oh gosh, which wire to chase, where, until, and I was actually gonna, Randash said that maybe you need, this is the air spring connector. As you can see, it goes here, then along the side. Watch my air spring replacement video, you will see what I mean. And then one comes from the other side, and they both kind of like meet and marry behind the subframe over there, which is gonna be really hard to reach. By the way, ignore all this salt, guys. It's end of January and I live in Massachusetts. So I wanted to take this out, the connector out, and start chasing it and find an open wire. And Randash was saying maybe your problem is there. Maybe it's not shock related, but I couldn't believe it because all the error specific and everything says it's the shock, it's not air spring. Nonetheless, I pulled that out, and believe it or not, I made a stupid mistake when plugging it in. Like Arnold springs have 3 pins, and I could only see 2. Turns out when I was putting the pigtail in, I bent one of the pins, and that was my problem. Luckily I didn't break it, so I had to straighten it, plug it back in, clear the code, and the error is gone. Guys, I can't believe this. All this trouble over a stupid mistake. But hopefully you find this video useful, because in this video I showed you various diagnostics, like how to chase wires. So if you have similar issues, first of all, make sure you are not making the same stupid mistake I did. Secondly, at least you learn how to diagnose the wires, weigh the Airmatic ECUs, and so forth. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, ask me questions, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos.